Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Through the People Lens Reimagining Workforce and Talent, a thought provoking video series brought to you by ETHRWorld EMEA and PeopleStrong. I'm Yasmin, editor for features at ETHRWorld EMEA and ET Education, and I'm thrilled to have you all with us today. In this exclusive series, we bring you candid conversations with top CHROs across the Middle East, exploring how they are reimagining workforce strategies, embracing innovation, and shaping the future of talent. These leaders are at the forefront of transformation, navigating the ever evolving world of work with cutting edge HR practices and next gen technologies. With a lineup of 10 such insightful interviews, this series goes beyond trends. It delivers real world strategies and actionable insights that help organizations thrive in an era of AI, automation, and digital disruption. And today we dive into a compelling topic: AI in HR. Is the workforce function ready for the future? Let's uncover how AI is revolutionizing HR and what it means for the future of work. And to further deep dive into these insights, today I have the pleasure of hosting Dr. Mostafa Ahmed Ghanima, Group Human Resources Transformation Director, and Mrigank, President, Growth PeopleStrong. Welcome, leader. It is such a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for you and for your team and for this great opportunity to discuss the AI in human resources. I really appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much,
much.
Yasmin, for having me. Thank you very much.
Pleasure is all mine. So let me also, before I start the conversation, I'd like to briefly give an introduction to our leaders for this episode. So with a strong academic foundation, Dr. Ghanima holds a PhD in HR and Business Strategy from Atlantic International University, an MBA in International Business, and a licentiate degree in International Law from Ain Shams University. His HR expertise is reinforced by certifications such as the CHRO Leadership Program from Cornell University, Certified Job Evaluation Professional from Conferry, and CIPD Associate Membership UK. Additionally, he has earned leadership and business credentials, including Global C-Suite Executive Certification from Wharton, Certified Speaker, Coach and Trainer from John Maxwell Leadership Academy, and Certified Business Consultant from ATD USA, equipping him with a well-rounded perspective on strategic HR and leadership excellence. Moving on to Mrigank. Mrigank is a strategy consultant turned digital entrepreneur turned digital growth leader. He's a core member of the HCM business, leading growth and expansion globally. An MBA from INSEAD, Mrigank is a builder at heart. A serial entrepreneur, he has channeled his energy towards building companies, the latest being acquired and part of the PeopleStrong product suite. Once again, a big thank you to both the leaders, and I'm looking forward to a very interesting conversation today. So let's
Thank you so
start with
much.
thank you. So let's start with something interesting. And Dr. Mustafa, I'd like to come to you first with a few rapid fire questions, just one-liner answers. I'd love to hear from you. So the first question to you would be, if AI could take over one part of your job, what would you happily hand over?
What I hope AI to handle the payroll process. This administrative process in human resources like payroll, like data entry, screening CVs. I think this is the best job for AI to handle it because this will give a space for HR professionals to work strategically, to start thinking about strategic planning, engagement, anything AI will not be able to involve. So the
Absolutely.
administrative part is the best part for AI.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of HR leaders will agree with you on that. Also, Dr. Mustafa, what is the biggest myth about AI in HR that you would like to debunk?
There are some people thinking that AI will replace the HR staff. No, I doubt. I'm always saying that AI will increase the capability of the HR staff, upscale HR staff, but it will not replace because there is an area or the foundation of HR is the leadership, people management, engagement, happiness. This part will not be ever covered by
Yeah,
AI because it's a human part.
absolutely agree with you on that one. So, Mridang, now your turn for a quick rapid fire round. So, do you think HR is prepared for the AI revolution everyone's talking about?
I think my personal view is that as far as being ready goes, yes, they are. Are they willing enough to take the plunge? No, they're not. Are they, what is actually holding them back? Overthinking and actually fear of whether or not AI is actually going to be, a force multiplier or a force detractor is really what it is. Should they be doing it? I think they should absolutely just move ahead and dive deep into the deep end of the ocean and let a few things actually unfold. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a great thought. Thank you. Actually, we need to understand that it is a force multiplier and not a force detractor. So, Mrigank, what do you think are the two use cases you would like to see AI solve?
I would like AI to firstly, really do become a force multiplier, right? And that can happen in every single facet of the ecosystem. Dr. Mustafa was talking about payroll, but everything right from recruitment to onboarding to learning to performance to employee life cycle, even your basic policy managing, and then finally payroll, all of them can be impacted by AI. Um, while I would love for companies to start using payroll as the first step, I genuinely think it's going to be the last step, because if payroll gets impacted, everything is going to get impacted. And that's
Yeah.
really the big control area of things. But having said that, I think it's definitely on the anvil. You can do whatever you want today with AI, as long as you have the ability to think about it, it can be done.
Absolutely. I think I totally agree with you. Every function, be it in a small way or a large way, AI can impact and solve for. So
Yeah.
that's how we start. So thank you. And now it's time to deep dive into the theme, which is AI and HR, and is the workforce function ready for the future? And Dr. Mustafa, let's start with you. Tell us a bit about Saudi German and your vision for talent acquisition, talent at your organization, and some of the key pillars of your people strategy.
Okay, when you are talk about the strategy of HR and linking into AI in Saudi German, I'm always saying that previously the AI was basic automation. It was a basic automation tool. Now it's a predictive intelligence, which means I back to my colleague discussion when he said payroll, the last thing. I said the payroll because it's the most administrative part
Yeah,
in
I
HR.
agree. I agree.
Yeah, yeah, it is the most administrative part and most hassle of time for HR also, by the way, to review the payroll and work on the payroll. For this reason, I said the payroll started with it. But AI now, as we mentioned, we are in my company, for example, we start using it in recruitment and workforce planning. He can predict the required workforce planning based on some information and historical information we use. He can predict the required staff and even the time of the required staff based on the seasonality data which already entered to AI, and he start make the algorithm and analysis for it. Also in the staff engagement, we use AI in our staff engagement as a part of analysis what our weaknesses, what our points, and we would like to enhance also in recruitment, not staffing plan only, in recruitment. Virtual, today we have a virtual AI interview which can conduct the interview, avatar, conduct an interview, review your body language, review and compare your answer to the required question based on competences. Part of it, which is ATS, application tracking system, will make a review for your resume and check if you are shortlisted or not. So again, AI is transformed from basic automation to predictive intelligence in the era of HR.
I'm so sorry. Absolutely agree with you. I think AI has kind of gotten into every function, not just as an automation tool, but as something that can predict. It has intelligence and help you be more proactive in the decisions that you make. So, Dr. Mustafa, you've also been at the forefront of HR transformation, overseeing large scale HRIS and automation projects at Saudi German Health Group. So, over the years, how have you seen AI evolve in HR? While you said it started with automation, it had become more of something that predicts intelligence. What are some other key trends that you have observed?
I can say that the decision making of HR department based on AI is better than before. The visualization of the data of HR is transferring, of AI is transferring the HR to more data driven decision making department. In other departments, you are dealing only with numericals, with numbers. Like when we are seeing with finance, you will review the P&L, and based on P&L, you can take a decision. But in HR, it's some sort of difficulty to take a decision based on data because there is no visualization. Now,
True.
the AI is the most important moderator for data visualization, which will already transferred HR in my organization to data-driven decision making based on data which comes from AI. Also, AI is predict what will happen within next year based on historical data, as I mentioned before. So the most important part from my experience in AI while dealing with HR is decision making and
Yes.
prediction.
Absolutely agree with you. I think AI has really, really enabled HR to use data to analyze the trend and also make better decisions. That's been one of the core function it has taken over. Coming to you, Mrigank, from your perspective in HR tech and SaaS, how have you seen AI transform HR? You've worked with major organizations across the globe. What major shifts have you noticed on how organizations approach HR automation and management today?
I think the first step, and that's similar to what Dr. Mustafa was also talking about, is in the recruitment space.
True.
Because in the recruiting space, when external employees have to be interfaced with, and there's a lot of repetitive process that goes and a lot of time that gets consumed. I mean, imagine um, one job requisition that goes out into the market, you'll get thousands of thousands of resumes in. How do you screen through them? How do you actually
Yeah.
figure out who's the best? How do you assess them automatically and get that final list of 100 people that can actually be done? So those are all agents that are now developing, and we've actually developed a bit of that as well. But so one is the whole recruitment side of things. Second
Recruitment.
is uh, to the point that again Dr. Mustafa had made about repetitive nature of work. There's a lot of transactional work that goes into answering simple queries. What's my leave balance? What's my last month's salary? I want my last 3 months salary because I have to take a loan. I want a loan letter. All of these are very repetitive things, right? And you don't
Absolutely.
need to do that at all now. In fact, maybe even this is a pre-AI era, but for some strange reason, HR tech hadn't yet evolved to that level. So now it's
Yeah.
become very, very, very contextual to employees knowing exactly what their background is and moving down the path. The third is on the whole talent side of things. Earlier, talent used to be looked at in silos. There was a recruitment process, there was a performance process, there was a learning process, there was a compensation process. Now, with AI coming in and data getting fairly fungible, you actually have the ability to look at the entire spectrum of an employee and say, who's the best person in my company for doing an X job? For example, let's say a brand manager or a branch manager or a new hospital attendant or whatever. And then say, okay, I want to now look at the next successor for that. And I want to find out who are the next 5 people who I should be looking at. And these 5 people, what should I be training them on? And are they actually moving down the path? So all of that is now moving into the space. So talent is another broader area where a lot of
Mm.
work is actually happening. And finally, there's obviously analytics.
Yes.
Analytics has become absolutely the name of the game. So you can now literally ask AI and tell them, hey, tell me what's my attrition rate in this department? What is happening wrong in this department? What is the performance versus the specific gender or this specific type of a employee base and stuff. All of that is now possible using AI. So while I still say that this is baby steps, but it's
Yes.
happening now. It's happening.
Which function do you think has it impacted the most as of today, if we talk?
Which function across the company?
Yeah.
I
Is
think
it recruitment more, or is it analytics more? Is it repetitive task
no,
automation more?
recruitment is definitely getting impacted the most,
The most. Yeah.
and the transactional nature is definitely coming down with AI coming in.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
really meaningful interactions in the space of all the other functions, it's still limited. It's getting much more embedded into those functions, but
Yeah.
for somebody to come in and say, look, I've completely changed the whole leave and attendance function
Yeah.
or the transfer function or even the payroll function. I think if you're doing that, Dr. Mustafa, then you're arguably one of the leaders in the whole AI
Yes.
space across the region for sure. And I say that even across India. I have yet to come across somebody saying, I want to run my payroll and I'm going to give it to AI. Because
Mm.
for some strange reason, of course, it's a very, very, people want to hold on to it. People want to hold on to that control. They want to control it. They want to be able to vet it. They want to be able to do it. They don't want to have agents running the entire payroll system. While I agree that for the repetitive tasks, like you mentioned, there is a lot of stuff that's happening. Like how do you check the variances? How do you check the pre-post payroll? How do you check whether there's any fraud? All of those things can happen. But the final
Understood.
checking and final signing off, no, no, no. I want to see it. I want it. I want to
Yeah,
only then
yeah,
will I allow that to happen.
yeah,
That is something that is still there. So yeah, all of these things are there. AI is definitely impacting in a big way, and we're still
yeah.
literally in the trying to figure out what all is it actually going to be doing.
Yeah, long way to go, but I think we've
Yeah,
taken big strides already. So thank you for
yeah,
sharing
for
those
sure.
examples.
If
So
you
Dr.
allow me,
Mustafa,
I'd
yeah,
like to mention small part. Now, in the recruitment, you can find an AI application. You will tell him, I need to hire an accountant. Okay?
Yeah, yeah,
He will draft the job description, start make the online advertising on LinkedIn or any other websites or Byte, LinkedIn, Byte, any recruitment website, and will start to collect the resumes. We'll
yeah,
take it to ATS, check the compatibility with the job description, will sort a number of resumes that will be shortlisted as resumes. It will contact them and
yeah,
send them SMS and WhatsApp messages, schedule an interview, send a virtual interview. Finally, he will shortlist with the required candidate for final interview. So
I
yeah,
agree.
now, currently, we're talking that AI is resolving almost 90% of the recruitment
Yeah,
process.
yeah, 100%. I agree.
absolutely, Hamid. Yeah,
Recruitment is definitely a big function that's being impacted by
yeah.
AI, and the question is how much of that is a force multiplier and how much of that is a remover of people. But that's a different issue altogether.
Yeah, that's a different conversation altogether, but it is impacting, and the results are for all to be seen because it streamlined the processes, and
Yeah,
there is more scalability, and the speed and scalability both are taken care of. So,
yeah.
Dr. Mustafa, also we're talking about a bit of these exciting AI-driven use cases, and you did speak about recruitment right now. So, any other AI-driven initiatives or best practices that you can talk about that are helping your workforce become future ready today?
If I talk about this, I must highlight the visualization and data analysis from HR, from AI to HR department. You know, now when you start setting the manpower plan and predicting the required staff for the next year and the required budget for the next year, AI now is can playing this role. You will go to AI, give the information, but please be sure that you enter a right and accurate information because garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah,
If you entered inaccurate data or misleading information, the results will be horrible. It will be a disaster because it will take you to another analysis. It will give
yeah,
you wrong decision. So now, if you go to AI and told him, for example, I'm in hospital, 200 bed, 8 floors, I'm almost seeing 1,000 patients per week. There is a formula AI will make it for you, and he will give you an analysis how many required nurses you need per shift, how many physicians you need, how many paramedics you need based on the information you enter. But in case you entered any misleading information, results will be totally wrong because there is
yeah,
an algorithm AI is working on it. And I think this is one of the most important sections because it's related to budget, it's related to money, it's related to cost. So when AI covers this and give me some solution, 90% accurate, and as a human part, I'll complete the 10% to be 100%. I think it's very important. And this is one of the major changes in HR based on AI for next 3 years, I think.
but yeah, as you mentioned, the interesting point here is what are you feeding to AI? So that the data has to be very accurately put in if you need the right results. I think that's going to be
It's,
very crucial.
I think, just as a point on the data being fed in,
Yeah,
ideally it should not be fed in. Ideally, it should be picked up from your
ah,
own systems, right? Like for
yes,
example, what Dr. Mustafa was also talking about,
yeah,
how many patients are coming in. That's data that is already there in the HI system. how many nurses are there. That's data that's already there.
Yeah.
How much time is being taken to actually check in somebody or check out somebody. That's data that's already there.
Yeah.
If that data which is already existing also in your system can be thrown up to the performance system or to the management system or be made available to AI, then you can do so much more. And actually
Yeah.
speaking, AI will step up and start talking about things which maybe you've not even thought about.
Yeah.
Because the data already exists in a lot of form, and frankly, we are already doing that analysis, right?
Yeah.
In Excels and in PowerPoints and stuff. There are so many discussions that we have.
Yeah.
Make it open to AI. The question is, do companies want to do that? Will
Yeah.
CIO allow that to happen? That's a
Yeah.
big question to have.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks for sharing that, Mrigank. Mrigank, and with your experience also in scaling HR tech solutions, what are some of the most impactful AI use cases you have seen gaining traction in organizations today?
I think the one very simple small use case has been about just filtering through all the resumes. I mean, it's a very
Yeah,
small use case, but a very impactful one because large organizations when they put out one advertisement for a job, they get 10,000 resumes. I mean, nobody's going to go through that. How do you actually
yeah,
filter it down to 100? That's what AI can do, and it's been doing it quite well. That's one. Second is Second is on the overall performance side of things. Just to set up a performance cycle in large organizations usually takes a lot of time.
yeah,
Like 2 months or 3 months and stuff. Now, with AI coming in, we can literally cascade it down from the top downwards in 10 to 15 days with everybody saying okay to it. And that's relevant to what is actually required. And I was quite surprised at that, right? The third
yeah,
in the talent side of things. I mean, I think the most impactful one was the whole talent side of things, where the system was able to throw up somebody that nobody had ever thought about, but was the most relevant to that organization, simply because typically decisions were made basis familiarity. I know this
yeah,
person, so take this person. I know I have worked with such and such person, so look at that person. But if data was to be looked at, then a lot more can be done. And analysis from a human doesn't necessarily compete with this at the same level as AI does. So all these three were quite good. We've seen very, 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 very low cases of payroll, though on the payroll side of it, I have seen companies trying to look at how do I automate the entire data input, ingestion, as well as managing of the first level. But
mm,
almost no company have I seen that has actually said, look, I want to go the whole hog with it.
yeah,
And so, Dr. Mustafa, I'm going to take up a separate time with you to try and come and meet with you and understand what are you guys doing around that
yeah,
nobody
I
else
hope.
is doing.
yeah. But majorly, if I can understand what you're saying better, Mrigank, it's majorly impacted the recruitment space, the performance management space, and also the identification and retention of talent. That's something
Yeah,
that the
succession
data
planning and
is
stuff
in.
to some degree,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
primarily it's the recruitment and the performance space,
yeah,
and
primarily.
skills and competencies. That's the biggest area that's getting impacted. And finally,
Agreed.
the sort of employee engagement bit, which is what I think Dr. Mustafa also mentioned.
Yeah, yeah, I think
How do you
employee
make things
engagement.
critical? Yeah.
Yeah, true, true. All right, coming back to you, Dr. Mustafa. So, according to you, what should be the ideal roadmap for healthcare organizations to start investing in AI for HR while ensuring scalability, compliance, integration within the existing HR systems? And if you could share some steps and suggestions, that would be really great.
When you are talking about a roadmap, firstly, I think you have to assess your business needs, determine what exactly you need. You know, there are many modules or applications for AI. I cannot say I'll use this AI. You have to determine exactly what your business needs. So you have to determine and assess business need, determine the gap, in which area exactly you need AI. For example, if you asked me now, Mustafa, which area you need the AI, as I mentioned, I need it for the payroll, start with payroll, then recruitment, and then staff engagement and performance management. Why payroll?
Yeah,
Because I'm running a payroll for a huge number of employees, and this is a hassle of time. For me, maybe in another company, the most area we need to apply the AI is the recruitment. So I have to determine exactly number one, what is my
business
business
case.
need? Number two, choose scalable AI solution. There are huge AI solutions. I have to change the scalable one. Exactly, I need this solution with these features, with this cost, by the way, because there are some advanced AI which is extremely expensive. So I have to determine exactly what I need that the AI which is integrated with my systems within my budget, cover my needs. This is the second point. Third point, which I'm always saying, if you don't have this point, don't go through step one and step two. Data compliance and accuracy.
Absolutely.
AI is data-driven tool. If you don't have the data, please don't go to AI. Because once you go to AI and you don't have a data, it will be the most misleading application in your organization. You know, if you have a robot and give him some errors, what robot will do? It will attack. And this happens before in many areas. They manufactured a robot, some errors came, a star robot start attacking the people. So we have to ensure the compliance and accuracy of my data. Number four, implementation. During implementation, AI algorithm is updating automatically. You know, if I give AI some information and I told him, keep this in your memory, and I came after 1 month, he will use this data. So I have while implement ensures that any updates, again, it's going to the data bank of AI. So determine number one, gap analysis for your business need. Number two, choosing the scalable and integrated AI tool with your organization. Number three, ensure the data accuracy and compliance. Number four, during implementation, I have to ensure that I am updating the AI with the data in his data bank. Otherwise, it will be, as I mentioned, misleading for my information.
Great point. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Mostafa. I think I totally, these points are something that can actually help organizations plan their AI journey. Firstly, to identify their own business needs.
Also, if you allow me, of course, we have also to ensure that HR team is already trained on this. And also, there is a very important thing. I'm sorry, I forget. We have to communicate to the staff what the AI will do. Otherwise, we will have resistance because some people think that AI is coming to replace my job.
Yeah.
So we have to deliver the message in a very clear way. This application will increase our efficiency, will upscale our HR department. So we have to ensure that HR people are communicated with the right message, the data implemented, and HR staff is already trained on this application. And last thing, we would like to have some sort of auditing, checking, quality assurance each quarter to ensure that we are on the right way.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. A great, I think, toolkit for other leaders to follow if they're looking at implementing AI into their HR function. As you said, assess your business need first, then look at what kind of a scalable AI solution can you buy. Ensure that there's data compliance, accuracy. You keep updating your data regularly so that it is not outdated. Implementation, how far are you going with it, ensuring that it goes to the last mile. And finally, enabling and empowering your HR team to understand AI in HR. I think that's very, very critical. It's a great point. Thank you for sharing. Mrigank, what about you? I think you have experience in implementing HR tech across enterprises. So what recommendations would you offer for organizations who want to invest in AI-driven HR solutions?
I think Dr. Mustafa sort of said it quite aptly. You need to firstly have your strategy right, and then you need to have your data points right. And then you need to have the right models which can actually scale and be able to give you the right delivery right. And then after that, have a structured approach towards technology as well as the implementation as well as the support around those AI models. And then start utilizing them. It's not a one-day journey. It's a multi-month, maybe year journey for you to become completely AI enabled. But the reality is that the organization that don't embrace AI will falter by the wayside at some particular point or the other, versus the ones that start using AI as a force multiplier, they will start rising faster and faster. So in every single form or manner of your game, one thing that I say is that, and I often find myself saying to many of my colleagues in other companies, we often tend to look at AI in silos. We say, look, AI in HR, AI in IT, AI in finance, and so on and so forth. Unless and until you don't look at AI for the company, And then every single function does not start transforming itself from a AI first lens. You will
Yes.
never have the true impact of AI on your business. And AI will impact you for sure because it's already impacting your competitors and they're out there trying to speed up their sales, their marketing, better their finance, better their collections, better their IT, better their HR. It's happening already, right? So if
Yeah.
you don't do it, good luck. What else can I say?
Yeah, if you don't do it, somebody else will take over and do it
For
for you.
sure.
But I think, for sure, I think that's how we need to move forward. As you said, AI is something that it's no longer an option. I think it's something that every business has to invest in, not just in the HR function, in other functions also, but HR is definitely going to be a larger chunk of their AI investments, and they have to be very
Yeah.
careful how they kind of plan their journey into this. So, thank you for sharing these recommendations, Dr. Mustafa and Mrigank, both of you. Final question for this interview now. So, Dr. Mustafa, let me ask you first. So, in the near future, what key trends are you seeing drive AI adoption in HR? And what do you think is the next big thing in AI would be for HR professionals?
I think AI in the near future will personalize the data.
True.
When I said this, one of my friends said, "You are crazy." I told him, "No." Uh, Now there is some trends in HR. We have to link it to the AI. For example, now there is a trend in the company, let people back to office,
Mm-hmm.
working from the office.
Yeah.
Amazon now saying you have to back and work from my office. There are many companies worldwide, which was previously during the pandemic of Corona, saying all people will must work hybrid, working from home, offshore. Now there is a plan to let people work again from office, back to office, and it's a trend in the organization. What is AI role here? I think AI can play the role of well-being program for your staff. AI will start make an analysis data for your staff and set a well-being programs for them. And this is one of the most and critical areas in human resources. AI will play the role in the future. I'm not talking about employee satisfaction. I'm not talking about survey. It's a well-being programs. AI will play this role.
Okay.
Also, the link between human resources department and top management, I think AI will play a crucial role in the visualization and decision making between HR and top management. So
That's a very
I
interesting
think,
take.
yes, I think AI in the near future will play this role as a well-paying program for the staff and personalize some solutions for the staff based on each staff circumstances and needs.
Yes.
On the other hand, will play the role of connector between the HR management and organization top management through data visualization and decision making.
Yeah, that's a great thought. I must say that while personalization is becoming so important for employees today, AI can actually bridge that gap because you can't personalize for so many people at one time. But AI can help you do that by understanding data, understanding what are the needs of your employees, and then creating something for them. So, very interesting. But the second point was my highlight where you said it can actually become a bridge between your top management and your HR. I think that's going to be interesting to see. If that's the future, we'd love to see more of it. So, thank you for sharing that. Final question for you, Mrigank. I think PeopleStrong has been driving digital transformation across industries now, including healthcare. So, looking ahead, what key AI-driven solutions do you see playing a pivotal role in helping healthcare organizations build a future-ready workforce?
I think when we are talking about healthcare organization,
Yeah,
the most important AI program for them is recruitment and well-being.
sure, sure.
Recruitment and well-being. And
Yeah,
PeopleStrong, they made a very good application regarding to this, and I already checked. It's amazing. But the part of well-being for mainly healthcare staff, it's very important because they are facing a huge stress while they are dealing with patient and them families. So if we succeed to develop a path for the staff engagement and well-being for healthcare, I think it will be amazing for the healthcare organization and healthcare staff.
definitely. Thank you, Dr. Mustafa. Mrigank, your thoughts on so on how PeopleStrong can build these kind of solutions, and how do you see the future today of AI? What roles do you see can it play in helping healthcare organizations build a future-ready workforce?
I think
Yeah,
two key points. One is, of course, all the feedback that the Dr. Mustafa is saying, health and well-being is a big part.
yeah,
And he's
yeah,
absolutely right. Personalized health and well-being, which when AI actually understands what exactly is happening, doesn't get prescriptive about it, but at least gets
mm,
supportive about it, because
mm,
prescriptions should still go back to the
yeah,
right doctors and stuff, but at least gets supportive about it would be a great. AI in healthcare is going to be extremely big, and it's not just going to be limited only to HR. It's going to be
yeah,
everywhere, right? Be it right from diagnosis to support to nudges to how do you actually take your medicines to the end patient. Everything is going to get impacted. From a worker perspective, from an employee perspective, of course, AI will actually make them much more productive in the healthcare space, because they won't have to rely on, where is the doctor? What do I need to do at this case? If you can see this, if you can just take a photograph, AI will be able to tell you that this is what it is, to A, B, and C, to be able to do something else, right? So I think productivity in the healthcare space is going to skyrocket, and
yes,
even learning right now with immersive learning and AI-based learning coming in, you will be able to have better training delivered to the nurses or to the residents, not necessarily to the doctors. The doctors still need a lot more specialization, but at least to the nurses and the residents on how to do certain elements.
yeah,
And I believe that that's going to be the big wave. Frankly, from my perspective, AI will impact the BFSI segment and the healthcare the most,
yeah.
out of every single segment that actually exists, right? And I think I'm quite excited about what's going to happen in the healthcare space, the overall healthcare space, not just
Yeah.
HR, but healthcare.
Exactly. Because look at the size of the industry today, right? We
That's
need
crazy.
such transformation at scale. And if AI can actually use that data, it will transform so much in the healthcare, I think,
Oh yeah,
function.
for
Yeah,
sure.
so
And
that's
this
going to be
will reduce,
amazing.
if you allow me, this will reduce the number of physicians. By the way,
Yeah,
I'm talking seriously. The number of physicians would be reduced within 10 years, mainly in the radiology, surgeon. For example, there is some robotic surgery. For example, orthopedics, there is a full robotic surgery it's doing. Reading the report from X-ray, reading the report from
yes,
CT scan, and write a report and set the diagnosis plan. He sets the diagnosis and saying this patient have one, two, three, four, and set a plan with the doctor. So I think AI will reduce the number of physicians. So don't ever recommend anyone to join the faculty of medicine.
That's a very, very interesting and a drastic suggestion for people. But thank you, Dr. Mustafa. So, on that note, that was all the time that I had for this episode. So, Dr. Mustafa and Mrigank, thank you so much for sharing such valuable perspectives on how AI is transforming the HR function today. As you said, it is not a detractor, it is definitely a force multiplier. It has already started impacting multiple functions within HR, and the future is going to be even more. So, it's good how it will empower us, HR professionals, all across, become better, automate their functions, get rid of repetitive tasks, help them predict better, use data to make better decisions. So it's definitely a win-win situation for everyone, I think. So thank you so much. We've understood how important it is to leverage technologies like AI to build resilient, future-ready workforces. But yes, maintaining a human-centric approach to all of this will always remain at the top of it all. So once again, thank you so much, Dr. Mustafa and Mrigank. It was a pleasure hosting you today.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you, and thank you for your time. It was a great discussion, and it was a pleasure for me to have a discussion with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
And once again, a big thank you to our wonderful guests watching us today. Thank you for tuning into the sixth episode of Through the People Lens, Reimagining Workforce and Talent, on the theme AI in HR. Is the workforce function ready for the future? With ETHRWorld, EMEA, and PeopleStrong. Stay tuned for more exciting episodes. Until then, take care and bye bye.